What's good, everybody, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those of you who are new here, my name is Celandria, and on this channel, I'm talking about all things femininity, getting into alignment, as well as becoming the woman that you have been hiding from the world, okay? And today, I wanted to talk about, I feel like I have really been cracking the code on, like, the energetics of weight loss for me, because I'm the type of person who... like, I've lost weight plenty of times in life, right? Like, I've lost it, and then I've gained it back, and then I've lost it, and then I've gained it back. And it's just like this never-ending cycle. And it's something that I don't understand the energetics of. Or I really strongly desire to understand the energetics of, should I say. And so I just wanted to share how thus far I believe that I've been manifesting how I manifested being in the weight that I am. So, like I said, I've lost weight at least 2 times before that I can remember. Was looking good, was looking, body was T, was looking slim, and I was very happy with it. And what's funny is that both of the times, the first time I didn't even realize that I did it. It wasn't until because I had this old scale and the scale wasn't moving. So I just didn't think that I was losing any weight until I stepped on a scale at a store somewhere and had realized I had dropped all this weight. And then I looked in the mirror and I was like, oh shit, I am skinny. What is going on? And another time I was working towards it, but I wasn't working hard. And I was just like, wow, I'm really just shedding pounds right now. And so here's how I believe that this was manifested for me. When I was younger, when I was I don't know, all my life I just been chubby, right? I've always carried some sort of weight on me as I was a kid. But I would say before I recognized that I had a body and how my body looked mattered, people were already telling me that my body was unacceptable or that my body didn't meet a standard. So the way that I was introduced to my body was, hey, you have a body, people care about your body, and your body ain't meeting the standard. Your body is not enough and you need to fix it. Right. But I was a kid, so it didn't make sense to me. I couldn't understand how I was supposed to fix it. When somebody would be making me a plate of food, a family member would be making me a plate of food. They're like, you don't need to eat this much food because, you have to manage your weight. And I'm 8 years old. I'm trying to go watch Power Rangers. What are you? I'm trying to go play hide and go seek. You told me I had to come eat. What is going on here? I never understand. I'll never understand how this was my fault. But the way that I perceived it or the way that I digested it is that it was my fault and it was my responsibility to take care of since I was a very young child. And I was like, hey, your body matters, your weight matters, you want to be healthy. And right now you're not the healthiest, so you got to get healthy. But like I said, I wasn't the one cooking the food. I wasn't the one feeding myself. I wasn't the one taking me out to the park. I wasn't the one taking me out to exercise. I wasn't the one doing any of that, right? I was still under the authority of the adults around me. And so it's funny now that I look back and I see younger children all the time. I've worked with children and younger kids, some of them go through a chubby phase, you know what I'm saying? But then they hit puberty or they grow up and their body just kind of evens itself out. And I feel like before I even got the opportunity for my body to even itself out, I had already created the mindset and the identity and the limiting belief of I'm too big, I'm too fat, and I need to lose weight because that's how my body was introduced to me. So instead of I just believe that there could have been, if it wasn't so blaring in my face, oh, you're one of the bigger kids here, or all of the, if it wasn't so loud, I wonder if it would have just been a phase. But it couldn't have been a phase because so many people kept bringing it to my attention and telling me, you're to this, you're to that, you're to this, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to care about this, you need to care about that, you need to, right? And so then it ended up creating this identity. And so it's like I guess it's called a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's like it created the problem for me. Something that could have very well balanced itself out. You kept poking and prodding at that, you ended up creating it. And so, and I noticed that also when you ever look at pictures of yourself when you were like in high school and college and things like that. And at the time in high school and college, you were like, you felt like you were too big. You felt like you were too fat. You felt like you needed to lose weight, lose weight, lose weight, lose weight. And then now that you're looking back, 10 years later, 10 years forward, right? So say I was 23 at the time, I wasn't happy with my body. Now I'm 33 and I'm looking back at pictures of me at 23 and there was nothing wrong with me. I was perfectly fine. But it's almost like I ended up, because I believed that when I was 23, I treated myself like that. That was my story. I ended up manifesting it. So I said, I'm going to stop telling myself now that I'm too big or I don't like my body. I'm going to start telling myself like I have the best body ever. I look so good. I'm so sexy. I'm so and so. So that when I look up 20 years from now, 10 years from now, 5 years from now, I actually manifest that, because the story that I continue to tell myself is what it is, are the habits that I create and the energy that I carry, and therefore the body that I end up rendering and manifesting on the earth. And so I just think that it's fascinating that I think people were really trying to help me, but they didn't realize, because back then people really didn't understand energy. And like, I always think about how they used to say sticks and stones might break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Like, we just didn't understand the power of words. We didn't understand the power of energy. We only understood the power of force. You know what I'm saying? Like, we were primitive, child. We was primitive. But now, as I'm an adult and I'm just like looking back, because I'm like trying to decode, like, how did I get here? And like, what am I holding on to? And at this point, it's just an identity. It's just an identity that I've carried for so long, but it bothers me. I could never get with the body positivity and like the, like self-love thing. Like, yes, I believe in self-love, but even as I self-love, I don't like my body at a bigger weight, because I just feel like it does not, I feel like there's a dissonance, and it's not an accurate representation of how I feel internally. It's not an accurate representation of the truth of who I believe I am. So it's hard for me to body positivity my way into just loving yourself at whatever size. Like, this ain't mine. This is a story that I was fed, that I created an identity off, that I believed for so long. Then I woke up out of the coma, and now I realize that this is not me, but now it's just a program that keeps running, because it's a habit loop that I'm struggling to break, because I just unconsciously fall into it. You know what I'm saying? You're telling me to body positivity my way in or out of that. And I do believe in self-love. I do believe in body positivity. But for me, body positivity is, shout out to my knees, because my knees be putting in overtime. You understand what I'm saying? Shout out to my heart. I don't put the best food into my body. You know what I'm saying? I don't feed my body all the nutrients that it needs. I don't give my body all the exercise that it needs. I don't give my body all the stretching that it needs. I don't breathe in deep enough for my body all the time. Yet my body is still operating at its optimum capability to my knowledge. And I'm not even doing everything that I can be doing in order for it to do that. So it's really working overtime, because I ain't helping. That's my body positivity. Shout out to you, body, for keeping me going and keeping me alive. And I'm not even really doing my part in the bargain. You know what I mean? I'm not taking no vitamins. If I am, I'm not taking them regularly. You know what I'm saying? I am drinking my water, but not consistently. So that to me is body positivity. Self-love is just me as a person, and self-love doesn't have anything to do with how I look, what I wear, what my body size is. Self-love is just a birthright to me, but I've finally been able to own the fact that like, I can't get with the dissonance between how my body is rendered based off of a past habit and loop versus the truth of who and what I am on the inside. I don't like that those are two different things. And I feel like it really messes with my just natural magnetism. And I feel like it actually makes my life harder. But that's a whole nother conversation. The only reason that I think it makes my life harder is because magnetism just makes life easier. There's so much more that I don't have to like actually pursue. There's so much that I don't actually have to do with magnetism. So if my magnetism is being like dampered by what I think dampers it, then that means that that's where I have to put an effort, because the magnetism is not able to move how it's supposed to move. You're making my life harder. You know what I'm saying? But so I wanted to share this with you guys to see if this is something that has happened to you, because it's normal. Like, now that I'm an adult and I work with children, I see kids, it's normal for kids to carry a little weight. It's normal for kids to be a little chubby. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like the weight that I wasn't an obese kid. It's normal for you to be a little fluffy and a little chunky when you're a child. But the issue comes in when everybody's like, this is unacceptable. You're this, you're that, you're this, you're that. Now you've like locked me in at this place because I think that there's a problem that I need to fix that most likely would have resolved itself on its own, just as my activity increased, just as my hormones kicked in, you know what I'm saying? Just as my palate changed as I got older, and and my true identity actually began to flourish. This is something that most likely would have just resolved itself. It never got the opportunity to resolve itself because everybody felt the need out of love, right? And like I said, I was primitive, but out of love to continuously correct me, which didn't correct me. It made me stuck in this place where it basically made me feel like I had to fix a problem that was never actually a problem. That wasn't a problem that I had created or a problem that I had any authority over. So I'm fighting all of my life to resolve this problem that like initially wasn't actually a problem. And then I create this identity around, my identity becomes a girl whose story is she has to lose weight. And if my story and my identity is I have to lose weight, then I have to have the weight in order to lose the weight. You get what I'm saying? And so now I'm really learning, how do I identity shift? Meaning just to embody the true identity before people began to tell me who I was, right? Before I internalized how people perceived me. I took people's perception of me as my identity. And that's never the case. Another person's perception of me is only based on their perception of themselves. So it's based off of their identity. That has nothing to do with me. Like how you perceive me on this video right now, somebody's going to watch this video and going to be like, you're the fattest person I've ever seen in my life. Another person's going to watch this video and they're going to be like, you're not fat. Like, what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're still chubby like a kid or some shit. You know what I'm saying? And so it's my job to make sure that I don't base my identity off of how you perceive me, because you only can perceive me through your own lens of your experience in life. And of course, as a kid, I didn't know that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not common knowledge to children. So, now I'm going through this process of like, how do I get back to the body that truly represents me without being so hard on myself? And then the next thing that it opens up for me from there is I'm learning now that I never knew how to eat. So actually, it's an entire loop. Okay, I got to tell you guys the whole loop. So as a child, I'm criticized for my body. I'm criticized for my body being too big, right? I'm criticized for eating too much. I'm criticized for not exercising enough, even though I'm not old enough for me to have authority over how these things are ran in my life. So, but I internalize this story. I internalize this identity of I'm too big, I'm too much, I'm not enough, whatever the story was. And then it creates a like jacked up relationship with food for me. So now I'm not eating enough, right? I'm not eating enough and I'm exercising too hard. I've always had this thing when I exercise, because this has happened to me time and time and time and time again. anytime that I get serious about, okay, I'm about to buckle down and I'm going to exercise. 2 weeks in, I hurt myself and I can't. Like I physically cannot exercise because I've hurt myself. I remember one time I was like, you know what? I'm just going to exercise. I'm just going to get a jump rope and jump rope and just maybe do 15, 20 minutes of jump rope every day. I get the jump rope. I think on my second or third jump rope session, I was jump roping on the porch. I hurt my knees so bad because I kept trying to, I could feel it hurting a little bit, but I was like, just keep going because I'm trying to push myself because obviously I'm not doing enough, right? I'm not doing enough movement. I'm not exercising enough because if you're overweight, you're eating too much and you're not exercising enough because weight is calories in and calories out, right? Weight is calories in, calories out. So if you're overweight, that means that you're eating too much and you're not exercising enough. So when I start exercising, I'm like, oh shit, I got to work out extra hard because I got to make up for all of this time that I wasn't exercising because I'm not doing enough, right? The story is I'm not doing enough. So I'm doing too much actually. And I end up hurting myself. I remember in that instance, I think I hurt my knee for like 6 months. My knee was down for like 6 months. And the job that I worked at the time, in order for me to get to my workstation, I had to go up 2 flights of stairs. And for 6 months, that flight of stairs, I mean, I did it regularly, but there was always pain in, I think it was my left knee. There was always pain in my left knee whenever I was going up the stairs. I had to take my time. I wasn't completely immobile. I could still walk. I couldn't just drop down into a squat and get back up or nothing like that. My knee was just not good like that. And so the one day I got to work and I ran up the stairs real quick to get to work to clock in, and I realized, bitch, you just ran up the stairs. My knee don't hurt no more. It was just a random 6 months of I couldn't run up the stairs. I couldn't run. I couldn't squat. I couldn't bend. I couldn't do anything with that knee. It was just jacked up from, it was day 2 or 3, maybe even day 1. I can't remember, but I know I didn't get past 3 days of jump roping for 15, 20 minutes. And it sat me down. It stopped me from being able to exercise for 6 months. For 6 months. There have been plenty of times where I go exercise, and to me, I don't feel like I'm doing too much, but I'm also trying to do my best because the story, the perception, the belief is I don't exercise enough. The story is I'm not doing enough. So when I get in the gym, I have to go do enough. I would work out so hard that I would get dizzy and lightheaded and literally nauseous and be about to faint. I'm in the gym finna faint because I'm not doing enough. Right? And then when it comes to food, I was never eating enough. So I'm recognizing this now because I finally decided to get a nutritionist, right? Because now what I'm doing now, I've been working out at least 3 to 4 times a week since January. It's June for 6 months. And I've lost and gained the same 4 pounds over and over and over again. I'm only losing 4 pounds and gaining 4 pounds and losing 4 pounds and gaining 4 pounds in 6 months of me working out 3 to 4 times a week. And then I'm not getting the correct amount of calories. I finally got a nutrition and we monitored my food for a week. And I knew that I wasn't getting the right amount because I did a workout plan earlier this year. And I calculated how much my calories needed to be, and it needed to be 2,200. I'm only getting 1,500 calories a day. I don't need till 1 o'clock. I might have my last meal around 9. I don't snack throughout the day because I'm bad with snacks. So I'm not snacking throughout the day. So I'm not even I don't drink juice. I don't drink soda. So I'm not even getting the proper nutrition for my body. So these stories that you're too big, and if you're too big, that means it's because you're bringing too much calories in and you're not putting too much calories out, right? That's simple science. Well, I'm putting out a lot of calories and I'm not taking in enough calories, and I can't seem to get past this 4 pounds of weight loss. And so finally, after sitting down with the nutritionist and going through everything, number one, my body is carrying and holding on to weight because my body is stressed out. It's not getting enough food. It's not getting enough nutrients. It's not getting enough hydration. And then I'm working it too hard. So 2 of my workouts during the week are a twerk Tabata fitness class, very high energy. That's too much for somebody who's not even eating enough food. I was going into the class. I wasn't eating before I came in class. I wasn't eating. So my body is literally in a state of fight or flight. And so it's holding on to everything that it can because my body was so stressed out. It was so stressed out. And it's been like that for years. I'm just not realizing, I'm 33. I'm just not realizing I don't know how to eat. I don't know how to eat. I don't know how to eat for nutrition. I don't know the right portions of fat, protein, and carbohydrates. I'm over here trying to do keto because carbs make you fat, right? I'm over here doing fat free. Turns out my body needs everything in the right portions. And so it's just hilarious to me how, like I said, it starts from the childhood where you're just constantly policed. Your body is constantly policed and you're basically told that you're not doing enough. So you feel like you have to strive to do more. And it's like, nobody ever taught me how to eat properly, right? I grew up in a Caribbean household. It's huge piles of rice and peas, macaroni, my moulin, cornmeal. You know what I'm saying? It's all fried plantains, sweet plantains, tout bagay. But you know what I'm saying? And then there's meat. I was always more of a sides person. I like the meat, but I was always more of a sides person. So I'm like heavy on the carbs, but I'm not understanding that like you need a balance. So then I got to the point where I was like, okay, eat everything separately. So if I'm going to have a carb, just have the carb. But then if I'm only having a carb, I'm spiking my blood sugar through the roof. So I need the fats and proteins to balance the carb in order to not spike my blood sugar up and down, because spiking the blood sugar up and down creates cravings. So I was programmed just like incorrectly, which then created the habit of me eating incorrectly, and then created the habit of me working out incorrectly, which then created the habit of me not wanting to work out because every time I work out, I'm about to faint, I'm about to throw up, I'm about to hurt myself, and then I can't work out for months. And you literally just end up manifesting this story that people gave you from a fucking broken perspective that they had, that I was too young to even realize and comprehend. This is their fucked up identities. This has nothing to do with me. And it took me until, like I said, I'm 33 now. I'm just now figuring out, girl, number one, you exercising too damn hard, calm down. Number two, eat some food. Your body needs to feel safe in order to release. I don't feel safe. I haven't felt safe. To tell the truth, my body has never felt safe. And I didn't understand, because the way that my body is like proportioned, when you look at those stupid little charts or whatever of like, you know, if your belly looks like this, then you have stress weight. And if it looks like this, then it's this weight or whatever. I have what one would call like a cortisol belly, but mentally I'm not stressed out. Mentally, I'm not like, oh my God, like what I thought stress was, what I thought cortisol was. I don't feel like that mentally. I'm cool, calm, cool as a fan, cool as a breeze. Like, I'm like, I'm not stressed. I'm not stressed about shit. If you try to stress me out, good luck. I'll just get rid of you. So I'm like, I'm not stressed. But I didn't understand that, like, mentally I'm not under stress, but my body is under an immense amount of stress. So then that leads into the disassociation, where I'm not even grasping that I'm disconnected between what I'm experiencing and like consuming in my eyes mentally and like how it's actually processing in my body. I've been stressed out since a child. There's been all sorts of abuse as a child that we're not going to get into. There's been all sorts of abuse as a child. So like from the beginning, right? You're immediately not safe. Then it's a secret. And then as I grow up, my body is constantly attacked. So my body is like literally holding on to weight simply to get me through the reality that I've been experiencing. And then I created this identity in my mind that like, I'm not good enough. I'm not doing enough. I'm eating too much. I'm not exercising enough. I'm not doing anything right. And so then I end up creating the perfect environment to manifest the fucked up story that was handed down to me. And really, my body is like, girl, can you eat some food and relax a little bit? And then you end up doing this relaxed thing, right? And then you end up feeling guilty for the relaxing, because you're like, your relaxing becomes just like binging TV, laying down, being tired, being lazy. But my body is in fight or flight. My body is holding so much stress and it wants to release, it wants to calm down, but I don't know the proper avenues. The only thing I know to do is sit down and watch Netflix, sit down and scroll my phone, sit down and read a book. But those things are considered lazy. So it's just a whole, like, this whole thing has really been like fucking with my brain, because it's like, I see how everything was created. Everything was created off of misinformation and a child who just didn't feel safe. So she disconnected from her body and she disassociated from her body and then beat her body up for the fact that it didn't feel safe and it was dissociated. And so I just hope that this story like makes you think about yours and really makes you assess your relationship with your weight and with your body. What story was given to you? Was a story given to you? Are you protecting yourself from something? Are you holding on stress? Do you feel safe? Are you in your body? It's crazy. It is really, 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 really crazy. And so I think I was just really flabbergasted and floored to understand that, like, I wasn't even eating enough. And that because you're not eating enough, your body then holds on to weight. But they kept telling you that you were eating too much because calories in, calories out. And then I'm working out all extra hard without enough fuel. So my body's like really holding on to everything. Trifling. I'm glad I've dug my head out of that hole and like I can see over the fucking rim now. But I'm just fascinated, and I really wanted to share that with you guys because I want you to take that into consideration for yourself as well. And if you're having a not enough story, you really need to assess that. That may be some garbage that you was just handed down that you need to throw out. But that's what I have for you guys today. I appreciate you for your time, your presence, your patience. If you like this video, please go ahead and comment, like, and subscribe. Let me know how you feel about this.